Welcome back to Don's Life. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining today. Today we're continuing the adventures of upgrading trim on the Corvette C8 with carbon fiber, and today we're going to replace these, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Let's go. So I partnered again with Extreme Online Store to bring to you another carbon fiber upgrade. Here's an example of the door handle piece that would go on the C8. Now I've already done the driver's side, I'll show you that momentarily, but this is the carbon flash one that we took off. This red is just a piece of vinyl that I had added on. Now if you look at the back, you can see that they retain the same mounting screw locations, but this one here is a lot heavier than this one here, which almost has no weight at all. So we are going to install this, and we're going to install this. Now the boomerang, as this is commonly referred to, does have some adhesive that already comes on it, as well as some bolts that need to be screwed down. If you look at the original piece, this one's super heavy, but it also has the bolts there, and you can see the adhesive has come off because I had to heat it up to separate it from the body. My plan is to show you step by step how to do one side of the vehicle because the other side's the same. Let's take a closer look at it now. Now in the near future, I'm going to be wrapping the whole vehicle. So I am going to have to take these off again because I do want the wrap to get all the way around the corners. But as you can see, we've got a nice carbon fiber weave all the way around, underneath. And then over here, we also have a nice looking carbon fiber upgrade. Some blemishes on here, just the PPF that I'm going to be taking off because the wrap that I'm putting on is also a colored PPF. So you get a little bit of a sneak peek in what we're planning to do there. So I like this look, so let's do the other side. For the price, the Extreme Online Store carbon fiber offerings are, pretty darn good. If you want to save yourself a little bit of money and get genuine carbon fiber upgrades, Extreme Online Store is a great place to start. So we are going to start with the hardest first. We are going to open the door and we are going to remove the door panel. We're going to have to pop this out here, start from the front. I'll show you how to do that in a second. And then there are a couple screws. There's one there and there's one here that we need to also get out. And you can see it's a Torx bit. So I'll have to take out both of those. The two screws under here, which I think are 7mm, and then we should be able to pop the door panel off, undo some wires, and then we'll have access to the nuts that are holding this handle on. Okay, this shouldn't be too hard to take off. I'm just gonna put a creeper, you could use a stool, just underneath the door panel here. So if I need to set it down to undo the wiring, it won't be too complicated. So starting at the front, because that's usually easiest, I'm just going to grab the plastic and pull. Work our way around. Make sure the windows are up for this. There, I've got all the clips undone. Now I should be able to pull upward. You just want this lip in the front here, this weather stripping, or this plastic piece, to fit around this rubber right here. So now that that's pulled up, we've got to undo these two wiring harnesses. Now if you need to go grab a tool, you can just let that hang right there. So that's what I'm going to do. Here you can use a flat screwdriver or a pry tool. So what you want to do is undo the locks on these two tabs. There are the red buttons there. You want to make sure these are popped out. And then that's the gray harness, and there's a black harness down here. Same thing, so those are out. And then you have to squeeze the tab in here while pulling at the same time. I don't think I'll be able to do it with my fingers. Oh, look at that. Didn't even need the tool. That doesn't happen, trust me. Try it on this side. Squeeze and pull. Wow, those are really easy. No tools needed. Let's just put the door panel over here. because I'm also going to clean these while they're out. Now the fun begins. We got to pull back this plastic here. Don't worry, we'll be able to stick it back, not a problem. Notice how the adhesive comes with it. That's because these are expected to be pulled back for servicing things. If you look under here, this is where you can see the nuts that hold the door handle on. So there are 4 of them, 10 millimeter. You just need to go along and back all of those off. So let's do that now. Now that that's done, we have a couple more screws under here. So let's get those taken out. Now we're not quite there. I'm not sure if you can see this, but there is a tab right there in the middle of the screen. That needs to be squeezed to release the handle. To do that, I'm going to use these angled pliers. Find it really easy. You probably noticed there was a wire there as well. That's right down here, right there. You want to undo this lock and then squeeze. So we're just squeezing the tab below it now, and then it'll pull out. And then that's attached right here. So I'm just going to use a pry tool to pull that out, and that way this wire is free and clear. There's actually 2 of those tabs. There we go. So these are the tabs that you're squeezing. You just need them to depress a little bit so we can get them past the body panel. Again, this is a piece of vinyl I put on here just as an accent, but now we have to get these covers off. Now this isn't too hard to disassemble. It's not that intimidating. You just have this rubber piece that has to come off first. It's really easy to get back in if you're paying attention to how you took it off. So that's out of the way. Now we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 torque screws to take up. For things like this, I like to use hand tools, so we're not going to break any plastic. Now this next part you want to be careful. You'll see that there's tabs here, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to leave those to last. So we're going to start over here, and we're going to start prying this apart from our cover. So starting on the outside here, okay, so that's all apart. So now that we're on this side, we're just going to use a screwdriver to gently bend those tabs up, releasing it all the way along, working up to the most fragile area, which would be the tip, which is why we're doing it last. Easy peasy, nothing broken. Now we can take our new piece and attach it. All we have to do this time is just attach the 4 screws. We don't have any clips to worry about, so the fitment is a little different, but it is the right shape and size, and based on completing one already, it does seem to cover everything to my satisfaction. So you can see if we just rest it on here, it seals up as it should. And remember, we still have to put on this rubber piece. So go ahead and start attaching your screws. I like to get the screws started so all the holes line up, and then I tighten them last. Now that all the screws are in, I can tighten them firm but not over tight. Done. Don't mind my fingerprints, but now that that's done, we can put this membrane back in place. Now you'll notice that there's these little holes. These little holes have to line up with these little bumps here. You just push them into place, it's no big deal. Make sure to pass your wire through. You just start at one end. So we just push this on there and then it'll hold nice and tight. And then we just do the same around the corners. Just work your way down. There's a couple things you got to push in here. Once you get this back on, you'll start to see the finish as a completed product starts to take shape. Another spot you got to push in. And now there's no spot for this last little nub to go in, but when it's pressed up against the body and these nuts are on, it pushes on there tight. At least it did on the other side. Now we can reinstall it. We'll bite, so now I don't have to hold it. Now those little clips that we had pressed before are holding it in place before we bolt it down. You start up at the front here, you will find that everything will align much better. Starting with your first clip. It's in. Well, that's the hardest part done. Now we have the back boomerang. Super easy, not gonna take nearly as much effort. Now to get this boomerang off, you need a 10mm socket, and there are 4 10mm nuts starting down here and then up on the sides. A little hard to see. I put some tape here so I don't scratch the body. I do a paint protection film there, but I thought I would illustrate for those of you that maybe don't. And then we just have to loosen all of these off, get all 4 of them, and then I'll show you what to do next. A lot of times you can just start it and then use your hands, a lot easier. So this is what they look like. You have 4 of these. That's it. Just gonna take this vinyl off here, probably confuses you more than anything. Now if you feel inside this edge, you can actually feel some double-sided adhesive tape. So we're just gonna heat the panel up a little bit and then use our pry tool to get that to stop adhering. And then we're just going to pull this off. I'll show you on the original piece. So on the original, you can see that we have adhesive just along this inner edge. And then on the new piece, you can see where that adhesive is. So really you're just prying off this adhesive. So take your time and work it off slowly. Amazing, see? Not too hard, taken off. Now we get to put the new one on. Now we can just clean up a little bit of this residue on here, get that off. But other than that, we just put the bolts through the same holes, use the adhesive to stick in these parts, and then we put it back together. Well, she's on there good and tight now. Everything's bolted down nicely. That's the end result. We'll take it out in the sunlight here. I gotta wash it, so we'll do a bit of a montage right now. Well, there we go, my friends. Another successful install on the Don's Life channel here on YouTube with the help of Extreme Online Store. Definitely check out Extreme Online Store's website. They have a ton of not only carbon fiber goodies for your vehicle, but many, many other accessories. And on that note, if you like today's video, hit that like button. Please consider subscribing, and we'll talk to you next time.